Okay, today I want to talk to you about 3 single words to keep an eye out for whenever you have to sign a client's version of a contract. These words have something in common in that they all give your client too much subjective discretion over your project, completion, or payment in a way that's unacceptable. All right, first is the word acceptance. You want to keep an eye out for anything that says the client is only obligated to pay its invoice when it has accepted the deliverables. Now, this can have a couple contexts, some of which are okay. If the contract says that the deliverables are deemed accepted when you provide them and they meet the specifications in the statement of work, that's okay. But if there's no reference to an objective list of specifications, then the word acceptance just gives the client a subjective means of saying, well, I don't accept these deliverables. I thought they were going to be different, or I thought the logo was going to be larger. We don't want a subjective element as a condition to payment. So we can say the client is obligated to pay when you've delivered materials that conform to the SOW, but we don't want to say that the client is obligated to pay when they have accepted the deliverables. All right, the second word is satisfaction. Even more than the word acceptance, satisfaction sort of has a subjective element to it, and we don't want completion of the project or the client's obligation to pay to hinge on their subjective satisfaction. Otherwise, you could do the work and it meets the SOW specifications and the client just says, I'm not satisfied. I thought it was going to be different, or I thought I was going to get more, or I thought the logo was going to be bigger. None of these things are grounds for withholding payment. So you want to keep satisfaction out of the standards for acceptance and out of the conditions for payment. Last is the word undisputed, and you often see this in the context of an invoicing paragraph. It says that the client is obligated to pay undisputed invoices. And while this sounds reasonable, again, what the word undisputed does is it gives the client a subjective basis for stopping work and withholding payment and using that as leverage to extract more out of the agency. Second, the word undisputed is simply not needed. Like if you were to deliver an invoice that was mathematically incorrect or had the wrong stuff in it, nothing in the law obligates the client to pay that to start with. So the word undisputed doesn't add anything. The law already does its job in these contexts. So every time you see the word undisputed, it's a way for the client to use their subjective approval to withhold payment. And we just don't want that. So when you see the word undisputed, realize that the client can use this as a subjective grounds for withholding payment. I'm disputing that invoice because I thought it was going to be different. We don't want that. We want that your completion of the work in accordance with the SOW, that's what triggers payment, not whether they have subjectively decided to dispute an invoice because of some internal approval metric. All right, so that's 3 words to keep an eye out for: acceptance, satisfaction, and undisputed. All of these offer the client subjective grounds for withholding payment or extending a project. We don't want to give the client that type of approval right, the ability to say, well, I just don't like it, or I thought it was going to be different. We want to refer to an objective standard like the detailed specifications in an SOW, and when you've met those, the project is done or the invoice is due. Okay, so that's it on this subject. If you want more information, head over to our website and check out our service agreement field manual.